Welcome back to another episode of Time Out with the Sports Doctor podcast, where life, sports, and medicine intersects. We are glad that you are part of this growing community where we strive to help you strengthen your mindset, help you grow your assets, and help you achieve whatever level of success that you want for your life. Go to our website at Dr.Derrick, thesportsdoctor.com, where you can find all the latest content, and you can also follow us on our social media channels. Now, let's get into this episode. All right, so welcome back to another episode of Time Out with the Sports Doctor podcast. And I want to just start off by saying thank you for all the love and support that you've given me along the way. We are now officially 1 month away from 3 years of being on this podcast. So I've been doing a lot of reflecting over this time. And, I mentioned that I've had a lot of opportunities that have recently opened up. I feel very strongly I would not have had these current opportunities if I did not have this podcast. So I want to speak to you today about should I start a podcast and why podcasting can help you become the authority in whatever you do. It can also help you grow a network. It can help you connect with other people. So we'll just kind of talk back through my experiences over the last 3 years. So I launched June 21st, 2021. But even before then, it took a lot of preparation and taking a course to get ready to start a podcast. So many of the reasons why I started a podcast is because I knew I was learning a lot of lessons in real time, 8-10 years into my practice. At that time, I guess 6 to 8 years into my practice that I felt that I already should have known early on. So I wanted to start to share some of my experiences as a physician. I wanted to share some of my experiences as a budding entrepreneur at that time. So I was starting to learn about different forms of investment and different opportunities for a physician or just different opportunities for an entrepreneur. So I started with the 3 pillars to help you strengthen your mindset, help you grow your assets, and help you achieve whatever level of success. And we've been able to connect with many different types of individuals, professionals, athletes, entrepreneurs, all based around those same principles and those coming back to the same thing. It doesn't matter what the conversation is about, we're always touching on those topics. And I also wanted to show people what's possible because I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon. I didn't have anyone in my family. Thank God I was able to connect with mentors early on, as well as have people in my peer group that were going into medicine that were able to support me along the way. But I do realize that many people don't have that. So I wanted this to be a platform where people could see examples of different specialties in medicine and different forms of entrepreneurship and athletes going from the playing field to being successful in many different walks of life. So those were all things, kind of my why of starting the podcast. And over time, it's grown. It started off with me doing everything from finding guests, recording, editing myself, marketing, putting the podcast out every week, to me being able to bring on an assistant to help with many of those tasks. So I was able to do really the interviewing and reaching out to people and marketing and things of that nature. But it's continued to grow and evolve over time. And through all of that, I've been able to connect with many people in all different walks of life on both in the US, the UK, all over. Many people from the West Coast. A lot of my early guests were from the West Coast, and I never even knew that they existed before. So over time, this has really been a blessing to me. And it's a way that you can also get your thoughts out there. And also, some people might want to write a book or do public speaking. I think the podcast ties in well with all of that. So, what I'm doing currently, I'd say direct tie to my podcast. So, as I talked to you before, I mentioned last week that I have a seminar coming out, a virtual seminar that I've teamed up with Influent Network to come up with a seminar similar to the reason why I started the podcast, to share some of my experiences for young physicians. So anyone who knows a resident, fellow, or just a physician who is a few years out and still trying to figure it out in practice, tell them about this seminar, the home stretch. The home stretch is a virtual seminar. It's going to be spread over about 3 to 4 weeks where they will receive to their inbox lectures on various topics from contract negotiations to debt management, investing, various forms of investment and entrepreneurship for physicians. This is a course that I wish I had access when I was finishing up. So It will be a perfect gift for someone that you know who's finishing up training now and starting their medical career. They can get access to the course by going to access.heyinfluent.com. We'll put it in the show notes for those watching on YouTube. So if you look to the bottom of the screen, that's the address. Go there, register, reach out to me if you have questions, because I know that we will add a lot of value to young physicians to help you try to avoid some of the pitfalls that I've encountered early on in my career, as well as give you valuable information of what you should be doing with this newfound wealth that you have, right? The money that you are coming into, trust me, it's a lot compared to what you've made. But at the same time, if you do not handle your finances right, you'll continue to be in the similar situations of just living month to month and paying bills and not being able to build wealth, which is one reason why I'm sure you have given so much of your time. So I know many of you need things to be proven to you more so than just taking me for my word. So I'm going to give you an example. I already told you on the last episode on the interview that I did with Dr. Amy Vertrees about how through the podcast, making connections through the podcast allowed us to do the interview, number one, but also allowed me to be able to participate in an upcoming panel discussion at the American College of Surgeons in October based off of relationships made on the podcast. But if that's not enough, I'm going to tell you about how I got teamed up with Influent Network to do this virtual seminar. As healthcare providers, we spend a large portion of our lives focused on our training as well as taking care of other individuals. But I'm calling a timeout because life can change in an instant. We know it's difficult to fathom that a sudden illness, injury, or death could put you and your family in a devastating financial situation. But that's where Dr. Stephanie Pearson and her unique team of advisors at Pearson Ravitz come into play. They focus on empowering physicians like yourself to protect your most valuable asset, your income, and life's most important people, your family. So go to pearsonravitz.com to make sure that you are protected today. So if you go back a couple of episodes, probably about 6 weeks or so ago, Dr. Frances Harden, who was talking about rethinking residency, and we talked about how the formal training in medicine now and her experiences and her platform, Promising New Surgeon. So I reached out to her when she was launching her podcast just to show support, because I know how it was, all the different thoughts and all the different emotions around launching, and wanted to bring her on to promote her podcast. At the end of the conversation, I saw that she was part of a network with her podcast, Influent Network. So just to give you some dates, on 2/26/2024, the day before my birthday, an introductory email from Dr. Harden was sent to Bryce Curry, who is with Influent Network. 2 days later, day after my birthday, we had an introductory call. Fast forward 5/28/2024, we're launching a course. So how does that all happen? Well, a couple of things. Number one, not being afraid to reach out to others to ask for collaboration. All right. And then another thing that a lot of my athletes say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. When I would sit down and talk to Bryce about the network, which was newly formed about 3 to 4 months ago, and some of the things that he wanted to do and some of the goals that he had for the network aligned perfectly with what I was already doing, as well as some of the bigger things that I've been thinking about for several years about starting courses and doing group coaching and things of that nature. When we were able to sit down and see that we had a lot of things in common and that our goals aligned, we were able to talk about starting this course or seminar. So I definitely believe that it was all the training that I had, not only from starting the podcast, learning how to launch a podcast, but also the most recent thing that I've invested in myself with the Next Level Speaker Academy, my largest financial investment in myself to date. But learning about how to add value to other people and learning about the power of collaboration and learning about when opportunities present themselves to be ready to take advantage of them. So I took a DISC assessment. I don't know if you know what a DISC assessment is, but it's a personality test. Highly recommended for anyone dealing with others in business or relationships. But it tells you, basically helps you better understand your work style and helps you better understand how to interact with people in relationships. My DISC assessment Lets me know that I love to have stability. I love for things to be perfect. I love for things to be neat and organized. I love to think through the whole project and know the outcome before the start. In one of the coaching calls, I was told that I'll miss a lot of opportunities because they don't look exactly right. I wanted to be very neat and tidy and know that this is going to work and know how it's going to project. This opportunity that I'm currently going in was the complete opposite, right? Never had any previous experience doing a seminar myself, working with a new network. So I was in the back of my head was like, this is not perfect, but you were just told that you're going to miss out on opportunities if you want them to all be perfect. If you're looking for it to be tucked away in this neat box, nicely wrapped, this is not it. However, because I've had this coaching and because I understand myself better, I was able to get myself out of my comfort zone and be able to take advantage of this opportunity, which is going to be a great opportunity, not only for myself to learn how to do things of this nature, but I know this course will be a blessing for many others. So from first day of talking, 2/28/2024 to launch date 5/28/2024. Currently working to complete the project. We're about 80 to 85% complete at this point, starting to get into the marketing phase. So help me share this word about the home stretch virtual course for young physicians. But yeah, that's it. That's where I am. I want to encourage you. Like I said, if you want to write a book, start a podcast, the time is now. Waiting on the season to be perfect probably will not occur. So I wanted to share this because in real time, because I know that many different feelings. And even now, I feel like almost back when I launched my podcast, I'm completing this project, but starting to have those same thoughts in my head. Who really needs this? Starting to already think about results. How many people are going to join? All the things that don't really matter because going through making sure we have a quality product, making sure that whoever is going to be present is who needs to get this information. And that's really the process, going about the day-to-day work, not worried about the end result. And that's really what I have to focus on right now, because getting anxious as the start date approaches, but knowing that I've learned, I've already won by getting this seminar together in less than 3 months. From time of meeting to time of launch, less than 3 months, that's a victory. And I'm going to take that victory to the bank, and I'm going to build off this opportunity. And I encourage you to continue to do the same. So give me feedback. Like I said, it's help me spread the word, and I'll be in touch with you. Peace. Thank you for continuing to support this podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, then please leave a 5-star review. And if you haven't done so, subscribe so you continue to get the updated episodes. Until later, peace.
Time out with the sports doctor. Keep our head right in the game. We ain't never stopping. You are now tuned in. Trust you don't want to miss. This is where life, sports, and medicine